Welcome back to Talk Show, where we pour our bowl of cereal milk first. It's Sunday, April 26, day 57 of Trump's war. Last night, gunshots were fired at the White House Correspondents Dinner. This is the same hotel where Reagan was shot back in 1981. Minutes before, Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt said there will be some shots fired tonight. Coincidence? Maybe. Also this week, J.D. Vance joked about letting Marco Rubio make his Polymarket bet first, just hours after a soldier was arrested for insider trading. Trump canceled peace talks, blamed Iran for infighting, and Lindsey Graham wants the war resumed. Let's not forget, we're 57 days into a conflict where Trump said it would only last 2 to 3 weeks. Let's shave this walrus. In our first story, let's talk about that White House Correspondents Dinner. Saturday, April 25th, around 8:40 p.m., we're at the Washington Hilton. Gunshots are fired near the security screening area. The Secret Service yells, "Shots fired." Trump, Melania, VP Vance, cabinet members, etc. They evacuate mid-dinner. 2,600 attendees dove under tables. Some decided to film. Others chanted, "USA, only in America." RFK Jr., meanwhile, sat there and watched. The shooter, Cole Allen, 31, from Torrance, California, fired at least 6 shots, was carrying knives, had a shotgun, and a handgun. Somehow made it past security, which doesn't make a lot of sense, and was tackled and arrested. One law enforcement officer was hit in his bullet-resistant vest, expected to recover, no other injuries. The surreal part, as we hinted in the intro, minutes before this shooting, Karoline Leavitt told Fox on the red carpet, Trump is ready to rumble. His speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump, which, means rambling nonsense. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. And then literal shots are fired. Look at this woman's face. Come on, y'all. This is like a hand in the cookie jar moment. I'm not saying that she knew, but if I knew that something like this was being staged and I accidentally fucking said there will be some shots fired tonight, I might make this face. This is the first White House Correspondents' Dinner that Trump has attended as sitting president. First time since 1981 that there's been a shooting at the event. As I said, the same hotel where John Hinckley shot Reagan. In our second story, let's talk about J.D. Vance's recent comment about Polymarket. Trump was answering questions about replacing Iran with Italy in the World Cup. That's a long story that we're not going to talk about right now. But here we are, Thursday, April 23rd. We're at the White House. Trump's talking. The microphone picks up Vance behind him saying, let Marco place his Polymarket bet on that first. Holy shit. The context makes it worse because hours earlier, U.S. Special Forces Gannon Ken Van Dyke was charged with using classified info to make $400,000 on Polymarket. Van Dyke was part of the Venezuela operation to capture Maduro, so he had access to classified info and bet on Polymarket using that insider knowledge. He was charged with unlawful use of confidential government info, theft of non-public info, commodities fraud, wire fraud. Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel made a comment while looking at 2 different cameras at the same time. I'm not reading his comment because he can get fucked. Earlier this month, however, the Associated Press reported suspicious Polymarket accounts making highly specific, well-timed bets on the U.S.-Iran ceasefire date. We talked about this in an earlier episode. There was a lot of profit made, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars. The same day that the Associated Press publishes this, the White House warned staff against using private info to trade on prediction markets. And then Vance jokes about it on camera, suggesting that Secretary of State Marco Rubio should place bets on geopolitical decisions before they happen. The reaction online, thankfully, was swift and severe. JD thinks he's being clever, but he's basically admitting that the White House treats geopolitical stability like a private parlay. Not dystopian at all. Reminder, Trump's eldest freaking son is an advisor for both Polymarket and competitor Kalshi. No conflict of interest there, right. And a Polymarket investor? The insider trading scandal involves their administration, their soldier, their classified info, and then Vance makes this fucking joke. It's another you got yourself caught cookie jar freaking moment. In our third story, Trump has canceled the Pakistan peace talks. Okay, so on Saturday, Trump canceled a trip featuring the brilliant envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They were heading to Pakistan. They were supposed to meet the Iranian foreign minister for a second round of talks. Trump's reason for canceling all of this is it's too much time wasted, too much work. Besides which there's tremendous infighting and confusion with their leadership. Nobody knows who's in charge, including them. But Trump also said, we have all the cards, they have none. If they want to talk, all they have to do is call. So what actually happened, as that's obviously bullshit? Iran's foreign minister arrived in Pakistan on Friday, met with Pakistani officials, presented a framework for ending the war, then left Saturday for Oman, and actually never planned to meet the U.S. directly yet. Trump, however, saw this as a snub. So he canceled his trip. He told Fox, we're not going to spend 15 hours on airplanes to sit around and talk about nothing. Within 10 minutes of the cancellation, Iran sent a new proposal. Trump responds with, that's much better, but it's not enough. Key point. The ceasefire was unilaterally extended by Taco Trump on Tuesday, so there's no new expiration date. That was supposed to expire on Wednesday. Iran says the extension is meaningless because the U.S. blockade is still active. So Iran's position is we won't negotiate, we're under siege, lift the blockade first. The U.S. position is no, the blockade stays until the deal is signed. So the standoff continues. In our next story, a lot of things happening on Saturday. His most lugubriousness, Senator Lindsey Graham, praised Trump canceling the Pakistan trip. He said it was very wise. Then commented, when it comes to achieving control over the Strait of Hormuz, U.S. military engagement may be required in the short term. It is more than worth the risk. So let me translate that. He wants to resume the war and send more troops. This is day 57. There's no progress on Hormuz. There's no deal. The ceasefire has no timeline for expiration now. But meanwhile, Cracker Graham says just bomb them some more. Hegseth on Friday also said we're not counting on Europe. They need the Strait of Hormuz much more than we do, supposedly, and might want to start doing less talking and having less fancy conferences in Europe and get in a boat. Perfect. So the plan is let's insult our allies, let's restart the war, and we'll just force Europe to solve Hormuz themselves. The Pentagon, meanwhile, has said that it will take at least 6 months to clear Hormuz. Meanwhile, the whole administration is making wagers on this like it's some kind of game show. Come on down to world news in a minute. Iran, day 57, peace talks canceled, ceasefire extended indefinitely, but that's meaningless. Hormuz clearing, gonna take 6 months at least. Death toll continues to rise. Oil is still at $110 or more per barrel. With Israel and Lebanon, Netanyahu has ordered powerful strikes on Hezbollah. The ceasefire was extended but already violated. Hezbollah is firing back. Hillary Clinton slammed Trump's Iran policy at a Democratic dinner, stating that it's driving up costs and weakening U.S. security. Recently, Treasury Secretary Bessent, a rare example of a human who could be described as smarmy as fuck, he mocked Iran's economy while citizens are trading cooking oil to survive. Hey, Bessent, get fucked. The Celtics, 76ers. Celtics won game 3, 108-100, and they lead the series 3-0. And last but not least, Taylor Lorenz wore a black mask to the White House Correspondents Dinner. And we're still doing that apparently. That's your world, folks. A bit off axis, but still turning. Our main story today. This is kind of the point of all the previous stories we've made before. Let's connect a few dots for you. The administration is essentially treating war like a casino. Quick breakdown on how the timeline has unfolded. On Thursday, J.D. Vance jokes about Marco Rubio placing Polymarket bets on geopolitical decisions. The same day, a U.S. soldier is arrested for using classified war info to win $400,000 on Polymarket. Earlier this month, suspicious accounts made highly specific bets on the Iran ceasefire, netting hundreds of thousands in profits, and the White House warned staff not to do insider trading. On Saturday, Karoline Leavitt says shots will be fired tonight minutes before shots are fired at the White House Correspondents Dinner. Also Saturday, Trump cancels peace talks, blaming Iran for infighting, says we have all the cards. What's the pattern here? Okay, the administration is treating war, diplomacy, and policy like gambling. Vance's joke wasn't a gaffe. It was him saying the quiet part out loud. Rubio makes policy decisions as Secretary of State. Vance suggesting he bets on those decisions is insane. That's quite literally insider trading being framed as a joke. The Polymarket problem here is that Trump's son advises Polymarket and its competitor. He's got money in Polymarket. Polymarket investors are tied to the administration directly. Suspicious bets happen right before major announcements. A soldier uses classified info to bet on the Venezuela operation, gets $400K, the FBI charges him. But the administration keeps joking about it. Then we talk about the ceasefire extensions. April 7th, there was a A 2-week ceasefire, April 22nd, it expires with no deal. April 22nd, also Trump extends it unilaterally with no new date. On April 25th, Iran calls it meaningless, leaves Pakistan. April 25th again, Trump cancels the talk, says Iran's confused. Who's confused? Iran presented a framework, left to consult allies in Oman. Standard diplomacy. Trump saw it as disrespect, canceled the meeting, claimed victory. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham wants the war resumed. Hegseth tells Europe to get in a boat. The Pentagon admits Hormuz clearing is going to take at least 6 months. Oil's way up. Shipping is paralyzed. Allies won't help. And Vance is making Polymarket jokes. Then there's Saturday night's shooting. Karoline Leavitt literally says shots will be fired. Then the shots are fired. She meant, of course, that Trump would be cutting, but the phrasing, hours after a soldier was arrested for betting on war, using classified info, days after Vance jokes about Rubio doing the same, at best, it's all the same casual relationship with violence, policy, and profit. But at worst, what if it was staged? There's a lot of controversy about that other shooting. Remember that might have been staged as well? The problem isn't necessarily the joke, it's what the joke reveals. They see war as opportunity. They see policy as leverage. They see diplomacy as theater. And when it goes wrong, soldier arrested, talks collapse, shots fired at a dinner, they shrug and reschedule. 57 days into a war, and Trump said this would last 2 to 3 weeks. There's no deal, there's no progress, there's no exit strategy, just Polymarket jokes and canceled meetings. So here we are, day 57. Shots fired. Vance making jokes. Trump canceling shit. Pentagon says 6 months. Lindsey Graham wants the war to resume. This is literally like the worst game of snakes and ladders I've ever played. First, we ladder up 2 to 3 weeks. Oh, snake down, the peace talks fail. Then we ladder back up, ceasefire announced. Oh, we're getting this, snake down, Hormuz closes. Ladder back up, Hormuz opens. Snake down, closes the same day. Ladder back up, Pakistan talks are scheduled. Snake down, Trump cancels them. Every breakthrough immediately collapses. Every progress is instantly undone. Except in the actual game of snakes and ladders, someone wins. In Trump's version, we just keep rolling while soldiers bet on the outcome and press secretaries predict gunfire. Anyways, if you learned something, I am so sorry. If you didn't, congratulations, you're coping correctly. I'm Tino. This was Talk Show. We'll see you next week.